What's up, YouTube? Saved by the Blood 2020 here. And I want to go over some of the things. This was a great book. You can get it. I'll leave the link in the description. The Secret History of the Jesuits. The guy was actually assassinated for writing this. Now, a precursor. Go ahead and listen here. We got the Jesuit infiltration, which this is just the Seventh-day Adventist. Okay, now listen.
So firmly in their consciences, in submission to the hierarchy of the order and the Pope, the papacy, and the priesthood, that they would be unshakable. Now, there's a very good...
So he's talking about this concept of this 30-day retreat. If you'll notice, a lot of these programming, MK Ultra, if you look at some of my other videos, they laid the groundwork for this. These Nazi scientists were actually utilizing this method. It talks about this 30-day retreat, and this is what it's talking about.
The treatment of the spiritual exercises in this book by Edmund Paris, The Secret History of the Jesuits. I believe this was one of the men who was assassinated for writing this book. But he tells here of how the spiritual exercises, let me read to you just a paragraph here or so. Mr. Bulmer says later, reading on the spiritual exercises, Ignatius understood more clearly than any other leader of men who preceded him that the best way to raise a man to a certain ideal is to become master of his imagination. Basically, the imagination is used to master the man. He said, we imbue into him spiritual forces which he would find very difficult to eliminate later. Forces more lasting than all the best principles and doctrines. These forces can come up again to the surface sometimes after years of not even mentioning them and become so imperative that the will finds itself unable to oppose any obstacle and has to follow their irresistible impulse. It is controlled auto-suggestion, and they use the Bible to do it.
Okay, if you'll notice, when any of these people, like I've actually had videos on, like Kanye goes on a rant, like he went on that rant and then they pulled him off stage and he disappears. Britney Spears went crazy, shaved her head. They disappear out of the limelight and they are reprogrammed. Okay, a lot of these people have a handler. Just look up Dr. Green, okay, the Nazi, Dr. Green, okay, continue.
They use the gospel stories, issues of heaven and hell, to bring the person through highs, emotional highs and emotional lows, and control the imagination. But the spiritual director has learned how to discern spirits, you see. And they have sighs and cries, and in 30 days, it was said, that was all it took to break a man.
So what are they doing? It's the same concept of the Marines. They break you down. The whole Marine was based on Jesuit. Okay? The military is based on the Jesuit. What you need to understand is there's a spiritual realm, and everything that is manifested, everything in this realm that we can see is all based off. There's a reason that there's decompartmentalization or compartmentalization, and there's all these security clearances. Satan's hierarchy, God's hierarchy, they have hierarchies in these other realms, and that's how they exist. Okay?
Just like a horse is broken, and he would be brought into absolute submission to the order of Jesuitism. And from then on, the enemy.
So this is how MK Ultra works. Just look up MK Ultra, Monarch Mind Programming. It's to defragment the soul. They have to break you down, and they were doing this on young children in order to program, aka allow these spirits. That's why you have all these personality disorders, multiple dissociative identity disorder. Okay, now let's just look at this book here and see what it says. Okay, God. The Bible puts power of a local church into the hands of a godly pastor, but the cunning Jesuits successfully managed over the years to remove that power into the hands of denomination headquarters and have now pushed almost all of the Protestant denominations into the arms of the Vatican. This is exactly what Ignatius de Loyola set out to accomplish, a universal church and the end of Protestantism. as you read this book, which I'll leave the link, The Secret History of the Jesuits, you will see that there is parallel between the religious and political sectors. The author, Mr. Parrish, reveals the penetration and infiltration of the Jesuits into the governments and nations of the world to manipulate the course of history by setting up dictatorships and weakening democracies such as the United States of America by paving the way for social, political, moral, military, educational, and religious anarchy. Okay, so now, basically this book, this guy became a martyr for Jesus because he was murdered, like most of the presidents. Okay, I watched a pretty good documentary, and pretty much what you don't know is almost every president that just died was either poisoned or set up by the Jesuits. Okay, this has been planned out, okay, and they were pulled out of each and every country, okay. Now, just some popes. The head of the Jesuit order is known as the Black Pope. He's called that because he is in the dark. Now we see the white pope, but the Black Pope works behind scenes and heads the Jesuit order, okay. Now they use the army of one nation to carry out by infiltration into schools, local government, then rise into higher government. Eventually you create Catholic cities, and they would put these ideals onto the public. All right? In 1639, the Japanese emperor said, no more Catholics or Europeans will come here. Assault on the non-Catholics. Okay? Now they corrupted and recruited Billy Graham, and he became a 33rd degree Freemason. Okay, nothing I tell you, it's all factual. You can look it all up. But yes, Billy Graham was a 33rd degree Freemason. Fidel Castro was a 33rd degree Freemason. The whole reason that JFK was actually murdered is because he wanted to go take back Cuba. Okay? But see, Fidel Castro was a protected Jesuit. All right? Now, I'm going to leave some stuff in the description and look into this stuff. Yeah. See, you need to understand how Satan's kingdom works. That's the thing. You need to understand and read this stuff and understand how his kingdom works and how he works through these people in the flesh and his tactics. Because you can't fight. It's easier to fight somebody if you know their tactics, okay? That's why infiltration and espionage are so important in the military, and why traitors are, hanged, or you know what I'm saying. Why it's such a big deal to be a traitor. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and end the video. Please educate yourself, guys. Love you all. Keep yourselves in prayer. Put on the full armor of God. And I'll leave a link to this. I might do another video with tons of free PDFs that you can engross in that I have that will really educate you guys on why. There's a reason why I'm so passionate about this stuff. Okay, God has placed like a calling on me from a long time ago to start exposing this stuff. Okay, and the thing is, YouTube is controlled and censored, and there's algorithms censor all this stuff out. So it's not like this channel is gonna blow up. Okay, there's multiple other people talking about it. As of December 10th, a lot of new policies were put into. I got an email about it. Were enacted, but I'm still gonna keep telling you the truth and speaking the truth. Okay, and the Holy Spirit will guide you. All right, love you all. Stay up.